Hello and welcome back everyone to a brand new video. I'm your host Jay Ritchie and I cannot tell you how absolutely ecstatic I am that you choose to spend a few minutes here with me today. Without further ado, let's jump into it. I wanted to cover this story because it seems to have slipped under the radar either intentionally or accidentally by the mainstream media, but the New York Post is reporting that Andrew Tate's accusers claim they have made clear that they are not victims. The sex trafficking case against Andrew Tate is basically built on lies, according to two women who say that they are being treated as accusers despite repeatedly stating that they are, quote unquote, not victims. The official Twitter handle of the still jailed influencer was among those sharing an interview of two of the women listed as victims of what the Romanian investigators have called a violent organized gang. Quote, "This is very unfair. They don't deserve it," end quote, said one of the women, neither of whom was named in the clip he shared, but who described them both as social media influencers. Quote, "I don't understand. The prosecutor said we're victims in this case when we've obviously declared that we are not victims," she said. "So this case is built upon lies." She said, asking, "How can I trust the Romanian authorities?" It seems like the Romanian justice system is focusing more so on the court of public opinion instead of the actual legal system. And unfortunately, every legal system in the world has been, can be, or is corrupted to some extent due to the legal system simply being made of humans. None of us are perfect. She said this case is being built upon lies, and how can she trust the Romanian authorities? In the last few years, it's become rather apparent that the judicial system, at least here in America, I can't speak for Romania, but at least here in America, it can definitely be influenced by outside factors. You simply need to look no farther than the BLM riots that caused billions in property damage. There was over 200 federal buildings that were destroyed. At least 25 Americans were killed. The list goes on, and they still have not fully flushed out and made everyone accountable for the crimes that they committed. It's just one of those things. And the reason that they did that was because they knew that at the height of the time, if they were to go ahead and prosecute all of those individuals, it was only going to make the situation worse. Now, I'm not condoning what they did by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a very clear indicator that if they had just followed the standard generic, black and white code of ethics of what the judicial system is supposed to be, it is very clear looking at it that they did not follow the actual law of what was supposed to happen. In the clip shared, which appeared to be heavily edited, one of the women said that the pair were introduced to Tate and his 34-year-old brother Tristan, one of the co-accused, through mutual friends. "We ended up being like family," she said of the Tate brothers. "I never worked with them. We were just very, very close." I'm assuming that means that probably girlfriend or something of that nature. She maintained that she was consistently made clear that she does not view herself as a victim throughout the investigation, which started in April last year after a 22-year-old American said that she had been held against her will and graped by the ex-kickboxing champion. So I'm sure you're all aware, but because you're all incredibly smart individuals, but for those who don't know, this is the second time charges of these natures have been brought up against the Tate brothers. Apparently, some American chick was in the Tate brothers' house partying with a bunch of people. She posted a story on Instagram, and her boyfriend, who was an American, freaked out. When he called her, she told her boyfriend that she was being held against her will by the Tate brothers, and her boyfriend called the U.S. Embassy and had the Romanian equivalent of a SWAT team come to the Tate brothers' house, check everything out, and make sure that everything was on the up and up. They searched the house. They didn't find anything illegal, mind you. No drugs, no people being held against their will, nothing. And luckily, the Tates have a very extensive security system, and they had video of the girl in question walking in, having a fun time, partying with them and everyone else, and even going outside of the property to get pizza that was being delivered. And after the police recognized that there wasn't a kidnapping happening, they let the Tate brothers go. It's and actually they just summarized right here. I think it's pretty embarrassing that 9 months after the first raid in April, when we gave our statements in which we clearly said we weren't victims, they are being used against the brothers, she said. I'm pretty annoyed and upset, and I don't understand why this is happening, she said. That's absolutely nuts that they'd be able to use it. But they do have the clip of when she was actually, went on one of the news networks and actually was telling her side of the story. So I'm going to play that for you guys now.
Working as an influencer.
Oh, hang on. Let's go back to the beginning.
I will also like to say a thing. I think it's pretty embarrassing that 9 months after the first raid in April last year, we gave our statement in which clearly we said we weren't the victims. It wasn't until a couple of days ago, I think. Yeah, a couple of days ago that we found out about the whole situation. So I'm pretty annoyed and upset, and I don't understand why this is
Okay,
happening.
just a second because I have to speak in my language for all the people. Please tell me about your connection between Beatrice and between Tate brothers.
Between Beatrice and the Tate brothers, well, me and Beatrice have been living together now for around 2 years, and I got to meet Beatrice, Andrew, and Tristan through some other friends of mine. We have had common friends, and we met, and till the end, we ended up being like family. So
Are you working for Tristan Tate and
no,
Andrew Tate?
I've never worked for them or with them. We're just very, very close, and we have. I am working.
So the rest of the interview with her is just basically her describing the situation that she's in right now. But in a separate interview, also shared on the Tate's Twitter page, his attorney, Eugene, not even going to try to pronounce that because I'm going to butcher it, also appeared to reference the two women when asked about the six complainants. Or six complaints. Not true. It's not two complaints, but it's not six, he said. He said that several statements in the case were from people presented as victims who did not have the status of injured party or have ever filed legal complaint or have ever filed complaints against the Tates. Now that to me sounds like legalese, but it sounds to me like what is happening is the prosecutor is taking the stories of these individuals from the original incident that happened back in April last year and is adding them on to this and trying to make it seem as if the Tate brothers are much worse than they are. And now they're actually having to come out, and these women are having to basically say this, and this is not the case. I'm not a victim. I did not say I was, and they're basically having to go against whatever the prosecutor is saying. This is going to be really interesting because to see how this is unfolds. Again, I'm no expert in the Romanian legal system, but when this goes to court, I'm sure everyone's going to be hyper focused on this case. In this interview, the attorney revealed that both Tate brothers are unmarried dads without elaborating on how many kids each has. I don't see how that's relevant. He also suggested that the influencer is being tried in part of his social media persona, noting how many online create a reprehensible and moral image on social media while having a really stable, solid moral principles. So I'm going to go on a bit of a side note here. Everybody posts their highlight reels on social media. Nobody posts their average everyday things. No one wants to see you brushing your teeth or folding your laundry or just doing the generic stuff every single day that most of us people have to do. People want to see the things that are exciting to them. People want to see the things that they're not able to do. People want to see the things that get them excited about all the amazing things that it is to be alive. And if you're only posting that, yeah, of course, you're going to have a lot of attention. You're going to get a lot of shares. You're going to get a lot of clicks. But one of the things that the Tate brothers have mastered, particularly Andrew, is saying things that are true in a way that is inflammatory. And one of my favorite examples that he does is, and I think this is scientifically proven, I don't think we can disagree on this. If you were to take an average of 100 men and line them up, and take an average of 100 women and line them up, on average, the men are going to be stronger. It's biology. It's just how it is. It's not. That's not up for debate. Now, is there going to be exceptions? Yes. Are there going to be women that are stronger than men? Yes. Are there going to be men that are weaker than women? Yes. But on average, men are going to physically be more dominant and more stronger than women. But as opposed to saying that, Andrew will say that women are weak. Now, that statement is not wrong, but of course, it's a lot more inflammatory. It gets a lot more clicks, a lot more shares. It drives a lot more conversation. And that's what he has mastered. He has mastered the art of getting people riled up so that his content gets spread to people that might not necessarily have seen it. Now, in the case of the Tate brothers, I don't know what their intentions were, what their intention was on social media to promote themselves, their lawyer says. But I'm left wondering, could this intention on social media stand as evidence in a criminal prosecution case? Andrew Tate suggested Sunday that he had been hospitalized, sharing a report on it saying that the Matrix has attacked me. For those of you who are not aware, Andrew has been released from the hospital. He is fine as of today. But as I said, yeah, I'm really curious. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below, and please make sure that this video gets shared because it seems like a lot of media outlets are not reporting this particular side of the story. But yeah, guys, that's the story for today. Hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.